Okay, so in continuation, we have conceptually accurate sign English. This is also known as CASE. It combines English grammatical order with ASL signs and some invented initialized signs. Just to clarify, American Sign Language, or ASL, has its own vocabulary, syntax, and grammar that is different from English. American Sign Language is an actual language. Conceptually accurate sign English is not an actual language, and I'll go into that a little bit later. But there's also something called MCE, or Manually Coded English, that stands for words, for the words of the English language. The grammar, the word order, and the sentence structure of MCE are similar to the English language. So conceptually accurate sign English signs are based off of ASL and MCE together. Basically, they put them together so that that method can be easily understood by a variety of people. Again, the methods for CASE are ASL and MCE. The idea here is that you use English syntax or English word order and the ASL signs so that depicts the concepts you are talking about. People who can benefit from CASE are deaf, hard of hearing, people who have lost their hearing over time, parents, teachers, and students learning sign language. Some new technology that CASE has is the Volcom 3D's signing avatar software. This sounds pretty cool. This program includes over 2,000 pages of instructions, concepts, and stories expressed in text, images, and signing. Visual signing interpreters, and the interpreters even have facial reactions and a personality to help students develop language and reading skills. Basically, the signing avatar converts English into sign language for the student. Some advantages and disadvantages of C are that it provides a connection between ASL and MCE, so therefore it makes it flexible, but it does depend on the person. Depending on the people in the conversation, they may lean more towards ASL or they may lean more towards MCE. A worst case scenario, if there's not a sign for a word, it can be fingerspell. Some disadvantages, like I mentioned earlier, it's not a language, it does lack rules. ASL is a language, CASE is not. Some people believe that CASE does not provide children with the complete linguistic access, which is needed to internalize whole language. Then we have auditory verbal. This is also known as the AV approach. I'll be discussing this one quite a bit here later on. But this has the use of hearing aids, cochlear implants to inspire listening, speech, language, and communication. Children learn to speak and understand once they have learned the basics of connecting certain sounds with specific meanings. I'll go into that part a little bit more later on also. There's many different philosophies for auditory verbal. The first philosophy is from onlineCEUs.com. That is where they support the basic human right that children with all degrees of hearing loss deserve an opportunity to develop the ability to listen and use verbal communication with their own family and community constellations. Then we have the second philosophy, which is from the Auditory Verbal Communication Center. Their philosophy is based on proven theory that most children who are deaf or hard of hearing have some residual hearing ability which can be utilized. Then we have the philosophy from the Hearing Impaired Professional Preparation, or HIP. Their philosophy is that the child is taught spoken language auditorily. The auditory verbal approach differs from auditory training, and that auditory verbal is a way of life. So basically, all three of these philosophies are encouraging students to use their listening skills and make it a natural habit. Some methods that auditory verbal uses is that the child or student starts off working in a stress-free environment one-on-one with their parents, caregiver, or therapist. Parent participation is very important in this approach. Once parents are familiar with the techniques, they are encouraged to teach their child at home while completing necessary errands throughout the day, and parents are taught to be supportive, relaxed, and have meaningful interactions with their child in and outside of the classroom. Some other methods that auditory verbal uses is that children are encouraged to use both their listening and visual skills together. Also, lip reading and speech reading. However, they're not enforced techniques, but a lot of therapists have noticed that lip reading and speech reading naturally follow the other principles of the auditory verbal approach. And I'll go into also more examples on that later. Therapists also encourage auditory verbal therapy within the first 2 to 3 years of life because neurological pathways are stimulated and the auditorial centers of the brain are being developed. Therefore, professionals suggest that children who have a hearing loss do get fitted for a properly amplified hearing aid or cochlear implant soon after it's discovered that they have a hearing loss. Auditory verbal also has a couple different types of technology. First, there's the Front Row Pro Digital IR sound system. This is pretty easy to operate, makes speech clearer. Some teachers can wear a wireless pendant microphone that it also connects to the PC, DVD, CD, TV, and it also has an automatic power saving standby function. And then we have the Front Row Tempo FM sound field. That's where 4 natural sounding speakers can be distributed, and the teacher's voice can be distributed across the classroom. A Phonics ear exclusive OptiVoice technology can maximize the student's ability to hear, especially when the classroom is really noisy. Then we have the Front Row To Go FM portable sound field system. This comes even in a smart carry case, has a wireless transmitter with boom microphone, a wireless transmitter with boom microphone, column speakers with 2 units. It connects to FM systems, PC, TV, DVD, CD, problem-free charging, and powerful built-in battery.